call this meeting to order. I want to welcome everyone to the Mayor's Roundtable. I am a former mayor, Jen Laird-White, and I am going to be moderating this panel. And without further ado, I'm going to hand the floor to my fellow mayor, current mayor of this wonderful community that is the home to Garner Arts, Mayor Robert D'Amelio.
Thank you, Jen. I am Mayor Robert D'Amelio, Village of West Haverstraw, and first I want to thank Jen White for moderating this Mayor's Roundtable. With us tonight, we have Mayor Ken Wray from the Village of Sleepy Hollow, right over the bridge, and my counterpart just to the south of the Village of West Haverstraw, Mayor Michael Kohut.
From a mayor's perspective, I think what we want to talk about tonight is how do the arts impact your communities? How important are arts for making vibrant, thriving communities? And I'm going to start with you, Mayor Wray.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here with my colleagues and with you. I just have to start off with saying, certainly on a personal level and as mayor, I think art feeds our souls and our sense of being, both as individuals and as a community. So the arts, performing arts, literary arts, visual arts, are vital to the health of any community. I'd like to see Sleepy Hollow create space and opportunities for artists to develop their work in a more organic way, where the community becomes part of the creative process, where new work is not just developed, but is shown, where conversations and connections are made between the artists and their neighbors. And we're doing some of that. We're developing significant new public spaces that can provide a canvas or a quiet place to work. These public spaces, along with our existing network of nonprofit cultural institutions and resident artists, could, I'd like to say will, bring people together to engage with the arts and with one another in a meaningful way. That vitality is what I believe will encourage and sustain economic development.
All right, Mayor Kohut, now on to you. Haverstraw.
Well, thank you, Jen. Here in Haverstraw, we've had quite a succession of artists who live in the community, who have come to the community. Started back in the 90s with Alice Jane Bryant, who moved here because of into a beautiful house on the Hudson River, so she could be inspired to create her art. And others have followed. We have Ted Ludacek down in Dutchtown, who has created hundreds and hundreds of stone heads that grace the grounds of Garner, as well as many other people's homes and businesses. And people get inspired by the community that they live in. And that's the success of those artists have brought other artists here who also enjoy Garner and have their shops or their studios in Garner. And the vitality that it brings to have those people, first of all, it draws others in. One brings two brings four, etc. And it brings other creatives, not just in the art world, but it could be in the culinary world or in the business world. And so one draws upon the other and it brings them in and it establishes and helps create wonderful places of being in the village. In a community as diverse as mine, it's also helping to bridge that those diverse gaps. But Alice Jane Bryant, who I mentioned before, created something called the Arts Alliance of Haverstraw, which existed for 20-some years and brought arts to the kids and arts to the community. And that's a really important thing to do. More recently, we have the Haverstraw Riverwide Arts nonprofit, which again is bringing arts to our community and beyond, and establishing Haverstraw as a place where you can view different mediums of art. And so the vitality that it brings to our community, again, it bridges the gap of the different socioeconomic groups, the different religious and ethnic groups that we have, and it helps establish a place, helps establish Haverstraw as a place of community. Art is all about community. And we find that doing things like having our food crawls and our other artist exhibits and things that we've had, and historical exhibits, all do things to attract people into our community, helping the bottom line for the businesses that exist here already, because it's not always about bringing that new economics in, but it's helping to keep the economics that are here viable. And art does that to a great extent. And it's created a wonderful partnership between the Village of Haverstraw and the Village of West Haverstraw and Garner, because we're so naturally aligned by the Minnesiongo Creek, by the river, by the mountain, and everything that's in between, that there's a natural connection that we all need to exploit for the benefit of everyone.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that the bridging the gap, and also this concept that creativity attracts more creativity and creates community in the end. And I also think, and Mayor D'Amelio can talk further about this, you know, you look at an amazing space like Garner, and then you look at an amazing business like Industrial Arts, who saw this incredible space and went, wait, I want to be there. All right, Mayor D'Amelio, on to you.
You know, that's so true. That it is an incredible space. You know, there isn't a space like that in Rockland. But yeah, in the past, the Arts Center had an annual arts festival, and typically it was a preset weekend in May, and it would give it the opportunity for the artists on campus, on site, typically to showcase their work, their art. And it was, you know, because they have studios throughout the complex. During the festival, you know, they would get the opportunity to showcase their talent. We would get over, you know, 10,000 people on a Saturday and Sunday, weather permitting, that would showcase their talent. And these are people that typically they wouldn't be, you know, venturing out to the Village of West Haverstraw. When Robin Rosenberg and the village board years ago, we had a vision of realizing there needed to be a change, and manufacturing, which is what it was originally set up for, was no longer really a means of doing business. So the village board, along with working with Robin and her planners, we came up with an MLI zone, mixed light use area. But so they turned that over a couple of years ago, and it went to a lab fest, live art and beer. And, you know, because of COVID, they only got to have one so far. But, you know, I'm sure next year Robin will bring it back and we'll talk about it. And that really impacted. I mean, we had brewers and vendors come, I'm not exaggerating, from all over the world, all over the country. I mean, people were flying in from California, and a lot of it had to do with this gentleman that we're honoring tonight, Jeff. Jeff is such a force in this industry that Jeff knows people, brewmasters throughout the United States. So Lab Fest was a big hit. Again, it allowed even newer people to come into our area. You know, the other thing about the Art Center, you know, so in the past, when it used to talk about, you know, oh, the Village of West Haverstraw, where is that? And we used to always say, do you know where DMV is, Department of Motor Vehicles? Well, guess what? We no longer, yes, that's the truth. We no longer have to say that. And now we say, do you know where the Garner Historic District is? Do you know where GARNER Arts is? And sure enough, they do. So anyway, so let's do everything we can for the opening of Building 35. Let's get the doors open. Let's contribute as much as we can. Let's help out as much as we can, and let's make Garner, you know, the art district hub of Rockland County. Artists can certainly bring they're bringing a renewed energy. Michael talked about, you know, the gaps. My gaps are bigger, and, you know, but the artists bring a new renewed energy that we haven't had before. And, you know, let's make Garner Arts Center, you know, like I say, the hub of arts for Rockland County.
I think, well, all the mayors, and I'll join you in this, agree we could give private tours of this amazing place. So make a donation and say you want a tour. You want one of us to give you a tour and show you around and show you how incredible it is, because it is an incredible, incredible place. And it's a placemaking place. You know, I think
If I could say one more thing, you're absolutely right. And I'm sorry I missed on that. You know, it's becoming, it can become a real destination. You know, when you have building 35 open and you can come on any given day and there's art to be seen, okay, where you don't have to go looking to see if there's an artist working in their studio, and you can come enjoy that on any Saturday and Sunday. And then from there, you know, you can go get a bite to eat at the restaurant, Hudson's Mill. You can have a brew, you know, from Jeff's place. You could see other businesses open. But by getting building 35 open, you open the doors for Garner to become a destination. And that's what we need to do.
Right. I think we have done it. I thank you guys so much for participating. And I think art is an amazing, important part of any community. And without further ado, I'm going to introduce our next performer, who is the wonderful and incredible Bill Irwin, local guy. People always describe him as Mr. Noodle, although I actually like to think of him as a Tony Award-winning performer, a serious actor. He occasionally turns up on Law and Order SUV playing somebody scary. And he's just an incredible, incredible artist and an incredible part of the Rockland community. And we're very grateful to have him. So welcome, Bill Irwin.